Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special episode of Pacesetters. Sometimes sport just coughs up the most beautiful stories, and we are blessed that we've got one right in our own nursery of harness racing unfolding over the past couple of years. As I said, it is a beautiful story, and I'd like to welcome in Craig Judd to the show this week to really let's break down and talk about a great initiative that he has driven over the past couple of years. Craig, welcome to the show.
G'day, Paul. How are you, mate?
Yeah, great, mate. And thank you for giving up your time to have a chat to us on Pacesetters. The story that we're referring to really does have its genesis in a really traumatic time for your family and some of the health battles that your daughter has encountered through her life, isn't it?
Yes, it's amazing the twists and turns, isn't it? So we went to the hospital expecting to have a new baby, and certainly didn't expect the whirlwind that quickly become our life.
We're talking about your daughter Kendall, and can you just tell me what is the condition that she was born with?
Kendi has epidermolysis bullosa. So Kendi's very lucky in the sense that she has the lesser form. So she has the simplex form. The Dowling mirror and dystrophic forms of the condition is some of the cruelest things you've ever seen in your life. So Kendall was born with just a small sore on the top of her hand and on her foot, I should say. And then the doctor at the time had been a pediatrician for 30-something years, and he just grabbed her hand and rubbed the top of her hand and rubbed away, and then he said, "I'll see you tomorrow." And we were like, "Okay, yeah, no worries. What's the mark on her foot?" "Oh, we'll see you tomorrow." So he kept it very light. Come into the following day, and she had a big sore on the top of her hand where he'd rubbed her hand with his thumb. And basically, in layman terms, they just don't have any glue that holds the skin together. So Kendall, as I said, has a lighter form, but she was at the Royal Children's Hospital for months, bandaged from head to toe, sores from head to toe, all just blisters basically. So we had her, what was why they, we referenced the butterfly with all our branding. They call them butterfly children. So basically, like a butterfly's wings, you touch the wings, they blister. And she had sores over the entirety of her body and didn't walk till she was 3. She was bandaged and washed every day. My wife, then Renee, was just absolutely incredible with her. We had really good support mechanism, but there wasn't a foundation or a partnership or anything that existed because it was so rare. It's a 1 in 1 million disease. And I touched on the dystrophic and junctional form. Those kids, basically, the sores get that bad that their hands club. Their feet club. They can get blisters inside on organs internally, and these kids tragically will be dead by the time that they're 15 or so years of age. So they call it the worst disease you've never heard of. And literally it was when Kendall was born. Obviously, we'd never heard of it. A paediatrician, Peter Eastaugh, of his experience, had only ever seen it when he was an intern, and he just must have had a sixth sense that maybe that's what it was, and hence why he rubbed her hand. And the next day we had a blister, and we were in the local Golden Valley Hospital in Shepparton, and they didn't know what to do, so they had her wrapped in sort of crepe bandages and the likes, and she just kicked literally all the skin off her legs to the point where I was, quite insistent. And then Peter Eastaugh came back and said, "Right, we've got to get this kid to the Royal Children's." They didn't know what they were dealing with, and we got down there, and it was a really difficult and tough time.
Mate, the parent in me, my heart breaks for you just hearing that. That's horrific. I guess people out there watching, given we're a harness racing program, are going to start to say, "Well, what's this got to do with harness racing?" Now, I guess the story starts to unfold with you going to a children's hospital and a chance connection that you made with someone there, isn't it? And obviously your background in harness racing and what you're dealing with the health issues of your daughter, and then a chance meeting at Children's Hospital, right?
Yeah, so Renee and Kendall were just at an appointment down to Royal Children's. We'd heard about this beautiful kid called Tilly Wilkes. We'd followed her journey, and but never got to meet Corey and Kelly and their families. And Renee got in the lift, and there was Kelly and Tilly, and she said, "Oh, excuse me, but are you Kelly Wilkes?" And then obviously a friendship formed from that. And then Corey and Kelly, I mean, they've put their hearts and souls and their families and friends of everyone's got behind this, and they started the EB Foundation, what was then, which is now the EB Research Partnership. So they've got in partnership with the American company.
And someone so intimately involved with this condition that you're dealing with, you then said, well, what can I do to help, and how can we sort of create a financial arm to sustain this charity? Your harness racing links, you thought, well, we'll put the two and two together, and you came up with a horse which happened to be then named after Tilly, Tough Tilly, who is a horse that I'm sure many harness racing people will be familiar with. She's been hugely successful in the past couple of years. So how's that unfolded with Tough Tilly?
Yeah, incredible. As you say, Paul, we just wanted to do something. We didn't know what that was. And we'd had, the great mare Ben Injured had already left Centenario. She'd had a beautiful Captain Treacherous filly, which we intended on keeping. And I come up with the idea of donating a quarter share in Tough Tilly to their Cotton Ball, which is their biannual event that they have, and it's a huge fundraiser. And, so we gave a 25% share of ownership. No costs going forward at all. And, the auction at the time, and I 27,000, I think it made, obviously comes with that, the pressure of hoping it's a nice horse. We thought, well, if it raises 25 or 27,000, that's just fantastic. And if we can get a little bit of exposure from this and awareness, it's a win. So, and then ends up being Tough Tilly. So it's quite amazing. So Corey and his family and core friends through the EB partnership bought into it.
Mate, you know better. You're at Benstead Standardbreds. You're in the breeding game. You know better than anyone. There is no guarantees when it comes to breeding, a colt or a filly. You've lucked in, haven't you? Because she's outstanding, Tough Tilly. And most harness racing people will be aware she obviously won a Group 1 earlier this year. Current stakes money at over $350,000 and rising. Lucked in, haven't you?
Look, it's incredible. It honestly is, and it brings a tear to my eye. Like I'm sort of half joking up here now because it has raised a lot of awareness, but the similarities between Tilly Wilkes and Tough Tilly, they're just, I think anyone who watches Tough Tilly race, she just tries her guts out all the time, and that's Tilly Wilkes, So to think that, we lucked in, absolutely, what you said, 100%, because it could have been absolute failure, and these people, they're hardcore harness racing people. We didn't make the Victorian Cup, the Victorian Oaks final because Tilly had a setback in the heat, and I've got these guys ringing, oh, did you watch the Victoria Cup? How good was that race? And, geez, that lady's in red, So these guys are actually now intricately involved or in harness racing. They absolutely love it.
Okay, so it works with Tough Tilly, and you say, well, hey, we might be onto something here, and you go with another horse, and that horse, and we'll explore the origins of the name pretty shortly, but just tell me, the other one is Come Say Hi, who's burst on the scene as an emerging star here in New South Wales.
Yeah. So Eddie Vedder, so Pearl Jam, his wife Jill is one of the founding people of the EB Research Partnership in America, and Eddie wrote a song called "Come Say Hi." So it's just basically come and say hello to me. Don't be scared of me. I've got these sores. I'm okay. And I thought, I had this really well-bred little filly, so I thought, well, just on the awareness side of things, once again, we'll chance our arm, and I think we might have struck a pretty nice filly again.
Yeah, well, I mean, Come Say Hi announced herself with a great win there at Menangle a few weeks ago. Had a treacherous bit of luck in the Breeders' Challenge, galloping at the start when being sent out as an odds-on favourite. Just racing. It's sometimes just unlucky, isn't it?
Absolutely. Look, no fault of anyone. We'd set her for this. Luke and Belinda, we gave her 2 starts earlier on. She won. She should have won them both, to be honest, but she sort of lost, typical 2-year-old, lost concentration, got beaten in her second. We give her a really good spell, brought her back, give her a really gentle run. And then she had the win against the Colts going 53. And we, I kept saying to my friends, this is going to be a nice horse. Luke doesn't often get it wrong, or very rarely gets it wrong, and he really likes this horse. And I think they'd all lost faith to the point where she blew out to $18 and won and went 153. And then, no fault of anybody. She just got a fright at the start, galloped, lost 25, 30 metres, and still ran third. But unfortunately, doesn't look like we're going to make the semi-final of the Breeders' Challenge.
I'm sure there's good things ahead for Come Say Hi. Anyway, hey, let's go back to that song. So that's Come Say Hi is a catchphrase around let's not be intimidated by this, by EB, which is the symptoms and the illness that you talked through at the start of the show. And there's a young boy in the States named Eli Meyer. And Eddie Vedder was taken by his story, writes the song. Now, there's a lyric in Come Say Hi, something like, come and say hi when I see Eli, I come and say hi, which references this young boy. Now, when you're coming up with the name for this beautiful new filly of yours, Come Say Hi was the name that you gave it based on that song, right?
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. Yeah. So I heard the song, obviously hit a nerve with us. With Kendall, and Kendall dealt with that at her school age herself. We're in a small community and people were fantastic, but kids are kids. So I heard the song and had a bit of a moment, and I thought, geez, if I could, we just wanted to follow the theme on, as I said, and hopefully the name of the horse and the connection with Tough Tilly, we can just raise some awareness for this hideous condition.
Yeah, I encourage everyone. There's a great YouTube clip. You actually, you've been putting links out to that on Twitter in particular, encouraging people to have a look at this. It's the story of Eli Meyer. Eddie Vedder talks through the song. And look up the song too. I am sure people out there who are watching this have heard the song. When they hear it, they'll go, I heard that on the radio or something. It's had a lot of airplay. I just love the way that racing is giving back to these greater causes. And obviously you identified that, as we said, you're lucked in with a couple of great fillies as well. Breeding plays a great part, and you guys have done your job in the early stages there, trying to get that right in the breeding phase. But it's just fantastic that racing can give back to these greater causes, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, even when we go back to the auction for Tough Tilly, there was Tim Bunning and his core group of owners said, "Yep, right, we'll be in the auction for a long way. We want to buy in." They weren't looking at it as a way of making money for themselves. They did that because they wanted to give to the cause. So they pushed the other boys along so that we can get to our the figure that we got to, and then of course the quarter share of Tough Tilly now has probably raised about $100,000.
Look, all charities need money and need that financial arm. Obviously, you guys have helped sustain this charity. What difference have you seen this charity make to kids?
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Just support networks now. We had, really no support at all, other than, the nurses at the Royal Children's Hospital. So it's come a long way. These families now have got, the Part EB research partnership that they can go to and help with, nurses and care for the kids. And it's quite incredible what they've done. And since they've linked up with the American arm, they intend to cure this condition. That's what their sole intent is. There's in the Australian arm, there's one girl who's a paid employee. Every other cent goes towards the EB Research Partnership.
Yeah. I know you said earlier in the show that it's the disease that no one's ever heard of. what is the prevalence among kids, particularly here in Australia? How common is it?
I believe it's 1 in 1 million.
Oh, mate, as a parent, you must, you know what it's like with trying to get it right. From a horse perspective, you must be saying, gee, this is so rare and so unlucky.
In a way, absolutely. At the time, yeah, but now anyone who's met Kendall, and a lot of people out in harness racing world will have met Kendall. She's larger than life. She's resilient. She's empathetic. She's just a really special person, and I just think a lot of that's come from having this condition, and she's a beautiful soul, and I think sometimes we're kind of blessed to have been put in that position where everything's going along good in life, and then you got to sit back and little reality check.
Look, mate, I think if it had to happen to anyone, I think the industry, the charity in particular is so blessed that it was your family, because a heart the size of yours, with your passion for being able to give back, but also coming up with a really, really cool and ingenious way of creating a financial arm to support it. I think they're very lucky that it's you guys.
Yeah, thank you. And my family, Trace and Mark, my sister and brother-in-law, mum and dad, are all shareholders in this horse. And, she was potentially a horse we could have taken to the sales and sold for quite a lot of money. And they basically gifted that share into that horse as well. So, but they're as passionate about it as what I am. So it's been fantastic.
And is there plans, obviously, with Tough Tilly and Come Say Hi, is there plans to expand this little financial exercise that we've got going?
Yeah, absolutely. Once COVID's over, I'd imagine that there'll be another cotton ball. There will be another cotton ball. So, yeah, I've got to put the thinking cap on, but definitely we want to keep bringing more people into harness racing, raising more awareness for the condition, and fundraise, make more money. So if I can intertwine that somehow, if anyone's got any ideas, throw them past me. Because, seriously, whether we can syndicate horses or do something, I think it's just been a win-win.
Mate, I think your biggest challenge is going to be coming up with a name for the next horse that's as cool as Come Say Hi.
Yeah, I know. It has its difficulties, isn't it? Like this one sort of just fell across the bow. But anyway, someone will come up with something.
Yeah, well, mate, I wish you the best of luck. I think what you're doing is so amazing. I think the whole racing industry should be so proud of what you're doing. You should be so proud of your family and what you're doing within yourself. I'm really, really grateful that you've given up your time today to have a chat for this program. I think it's such an important story for people to know about.
No, I appreciate it, Paul. Appreciate your time. And, the harness racing world out there, thank you, because they've all, been involved in this journey with us. And, that people have loved watching Tough Tilly and what she's all about. And hopefully people can get on the coattails of Come Say Hi down at the Breeders' Crown.
Yeah, let's hope so, mate. Let's hope there's a lot of success ahead for Come Say Hi, Tough Tilly, and whatever's next, as you said, because every dollar raised contributes to such a great cause. Craig, thanks for your time on Pacesetters today. Really
Absolute pleasure, mate. Lovely to meet you, and all the best.
Good on you, Craig. To everyone out there tuning in, I hope you've enjoyed this one. It's such a great story to be able to bring to you, and keep tuning in, because hopefully there's more great stories as good as this one to come. So we'll see you next time on Pacesetters. Bye-bye.